Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Pubarama, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about air freight cargo specifically, because this week, you're going to be making 50% extra cash with all sale missions completed with air freight, which is actually not too bad. We're going to be breaking into the nitty-gritty on how much money you can actually earn with it, and the first thing we're going to do is talk about how you start air freight cargo if you don't own a hangar, is by making your way over to foreclosure on Maze Bank. Now you got a couple options. You've got two hangars over at LSIA, which are definitely the cheapest at 1.5 million. I think the one I have is normally 1.2, and because all hangars are 30% off this week, if you're a newer player, these are what I'd suggest to go for. However, if you have a lot more money or you don't mind spending a little bit of extra cash, I would just suggest to buy Fort Zancudo Hangar 3,497. The other two hangars here are useless. I don't understand the point of them. They look bigger on pictures, but they're not, which is weird. You'd think they'd give you more space to put planes on the floor, but they don't. So what I'm going to do is purchase this hangar right here, because I've been waiting for these hangars to be 30% off to finally get my hands on a Fort Zancudo hangar. So I'm thinking a blue floor is going to look pretty nice, and when it comes to lighting, let's just do all the upgrades. Let's see how much money it costs to do all of them. How about we do, nah, I don't really like that one. That one's mediocre. Let's just do, I still like the compass one. That's what my current one's at, and I think that one looks pretty cool. Let's obviously upgrade to a modern office furniture, living quarters, and finish off with a workshop. Overall, it's $2.874 million for the upgrade, which is definitely not cheap, but at least I get 1.6 million from my current hangar, which means, yeah, it's actually about 1.2 million to get the upgrade. All right, that's not too bad. Let's make our way over to our new hangar, and while we do, the first thing I should talk about when it comes to air freight cargo is the efficiency of how you can make money. For example, if you're a solo player, air freight cargo is a pretty bad business model because you get more crates per source if you have more people helping you out. For example, if I had 2 friends online right now, I would get 3 crates per source because I would get one and my 2 friends would get a crate. If I had 4 people, including me, then that would mean I'd get 4 crates for each source I do, which is obviously a heck of a lot more than if I'm a solo player getting 1 crate because I'm 1 person per source. It's not like special cargo where you can still spawn 3 crates even though you're a solo player. You can't. You can only spawn 1 at a time with air freight cargo. It's a business that forces you to try and have other people to help you, or you're going to really massively lose out on what you're able to earn with the business. It's really unfortunate. Because of that, it's not a great business at all for a solo player, which is, let's be real, what the majority of players, including myself, are nowadays. But yeah, that's just kind of how air freight cargo works. So already, if you don't like having friends online or you're a solo player, I just suggest to stay far away from this business. But is it worth it to at least take a part on with the 50% cash bonus this week? Well, let's get straight into it. The first bit of advice I can give you when it comes to air freight cargo is to own a vehicle that is more than capable of completing the majority of missions. A lot of planes that I have, like the Rogue or even the B-11 Strike Force, are very effective at completing some of them, but others not so much. The best vehicle I can actually suggest, which is going to sound weird, but the best vehicle I can suggest to use is this right here, this little dainty looking helicopter, the Sea Sparrow. Now why? Well, the Sea Sparrow on paper is just a normal sparrow that you can get out of your Kosatka. So what's the advantage? Well, it's the fact it can land on water. The Sea Sparrow features flares, and more specifically, it features missiles, which means anything you need to blow up the Sea Sparrow can. But not only that, if you have any water missions, which are more than abundant, it is very important to be able to land on the water, which the Sea Sparrow can do, and complete them a lot easier than using a land jet fighter that you then have to jump out of or land on the ground and then get out a boat and deal with the mission anyway. It's just a lot easier, at least from my experience using the Sea Sparrow, especially because it isn't ridiculously expensive. A great example of where you want to use a helicopter rather than a plane is like this mission, where I have to fly to the roof of a construction site. Obviously, using a plane is going to be very hard to land on the roof of a construction site, so it's a lot more efficient to use a helicopter like this and, you know, get the job done a heck of a lot easier. Alright, we've got the chemicals, and at this point, all we need to do is get in our helicopter and get in the air, which is obviously pretty easy to do, so we're just gonna fly back to the hangar. As you can see, using a vehicle that's a helicopter is very easy to do this type of mission in, and yeah, it's pretty dang simple. Overall, when it comes to air freight cargo, it's not the worst thing out there, and it's pretty easy to do the missions back and forth. You can see this one's only taken me about 4 minutes, but it's definitely a lot more efficient, like 4 times more efficient, as I said, if you have extra people helping you, which is what I would personally suggest to do. This week, you're going to start off making $45,000 per crate because of that increased payout. That's a lot of money, especially when you realize that this is only the beginning. The more crates you fill up of one specific type, for example, the highest paying crates in the game are narcotics, medical supplies, and chemicals. If you only choose one of those 3 to fill from 0 to 50 in your storage, you're going to get another massive boost, up to like 50% extra because of the fact you've only done that single one. So your actual payout's going to go from 45,000 a crate to, no joke, 76,000 a crate. It's an absolutely massive jump up in money, and I would highly suggest, as I said, only to fill with one specific type of cargo. I'm lazy, so I did back and forth 1 and 1 and 1, just because it's a lot faster to fill, but you're going to actually lose out in money. So you might have to wait for a cooldown, you know, a 3-minute cooldown each time you make your way back after finishing the crate mission if you do it a little fast, but that's fine because you're making money and it says you're doing it fast. Now, something else that's very nice about air freight cargo is, as you can see, you can grab the chemicals, for example, in the air when they're falling. As long as you touch the crate with your vehicle, you can grab them, which is great. It honestly saves a heck of a lot of time and makes it a lot easier to do some of these air freight cargo missions. But yeah, not too bad overall so far, and I've been enjoying this. Oh, there's a missile being fired at me. Ooh, boy. This is definitely my least favorite mission of the bunch because it's a time limit that you can't do anything about. A lot of the other missions, as fast as you are, is how quick you can complete them. This one, it's literally just you flying around a Titan for about 10 minutes, waiting for it to go about 2 miles an hour to complete a mission. It is incredibly boring, it wastes your time, and yeah, it's just a pain overall. And once you complete this, you still have to grab the crate and bring it back. It is just the most boring mission in the world. Apparently also I can't hit these buzzards with the gun, but yeah, just if you get this mission, honestly, it might be worth it just to skip it altogether and just start up a new one, because this is going to be a waste of a lot more time than it would be just to start a new mission overall. Now we arrive at the part of the video a lot of you probably care the most about, which is how much money you can make with the new increased 50% payout this week doing air freight cargo. The first thing I should do is showcase this chart. This chart shows all the different payouts and how much you can make with each of the materials you can source. You'll notice counterfeit, tobacco, jewelry, art, and animal goods are all lower income than medical supplies, chemicals, and narcotics. Now the reason is because those missions are quite a bit easier to do. So if you want an easier and chill time, I would suggest to do like counterfeit cash or jewelry or stuff like that. But if you want to make the most money, then you got to do medical supplies, chemicals, or narcotics. Now more specifically than that, the most money you can make is only sourcing 50 of one single material. I personally, as I said earlier, like to go back and forth between 2 because I usually finish them fast enough and I have to wait for a cooldown, so it's a lot more efficient for me to go back and forth. But if you want to make the highest payout, you should go only for 50 of one stock. And the reason behind that is because the more of one stock you get, the more percentage you increase on how much it's worth. And we can very easily look at this. If you take a look at medical supplies, $0 is obviously 0 stock. And if we get 10 of that stock, it's worth 300,000. So from 0 crates to 10, it's a $300,000 increase. If we look at 50 crates, which is 2.55 million, to 40 crates, which is 1.6 million, we can see that's about a $1 million difference there. So yeah, that's a pretty big difference from 1 million on the last 10 crates to 300,000 on the first 10. It shows you that you get a massive increase when you continuously fill one single supply. So that's what I would suggest to do if you're really going for the big bang bucks. Now this chart you're seeing here does not show the 50% 50% increase. If we want to do that, it's very easy. We pull out a calculator and add 2.55 million by 1.5. And what you should get is $3.825 million if you completely fill your warehouse up. Now, if we wanted to figure out how much each crate is worth, we're going to divide that 3.825 million by 50. And that means each source you do is going to be worth about, I actually multiplied because I'm stupid. Let's try that again. 3.8 million divided by 50, and it's going to be about $76,000 each crate, which is actually a lot of money. Judging that you can do each crate source in about 10 minutes, and that's including the cooldown, that means that you can do probably about 6 sources in an hour. So right now, with these 1.5 times income, as a solo player, you can make about $456,000 an hour doing air freight cargo. Yeah, it's not great. I mean, you can still do the Cayo Perico heist or the Dr. Dre VIP missions and make more money, which is still kind of weird. You'd think with a 1.5 times payout it'd be really good, but yeah, as a solo player, it's not all that efficient. But this is where it gets pretty nice. As a multiplayer business, and you have 3 people helping you out, it becomes absolutely insane. As I said, each crate is 76,000, and if you have 3 people helping you, then that 76,000 now goes to 304,000 each time you do a source. That is an insane amount of money. That 304,000 multiplied by that 6 sources once again in an hour means now you're making $1.824 million an hour. Wow, that is absolutely insane. In fact, if you have 3 people helping you with air freight cargo, this week it is the most profitable business in Grand Theft Auto Online, period. But you need 3 people. So it's really an awkward dilemma. If you want to try and find people, you can join my Discord in the description down below. You can join TGG's Discord or any big GTA YouTuber out there. And hopefully you can find people to help you out with this. It's definitely worth your time if you can get 3 people to help you. But if you can't, then I would suggest just to do the Cayo Perico heist or any other money-making method, because while it's good, as I said, it's only good if you have people helping you. Now, even if you don't have 4 people, even if you, obviously yourself included, even if you only have 2 people, it's still 76,000 times 2, which means you're making 152,000 every 10 minutes, which means, again, if you do that for an hour, you can still make 900,000 an hour, which is a lot. So if you just have 1 friend, air freight cargo is not a bad business at all. It's really good once you start to have more and more people helping you out. But as a solo endeavor, don't bother. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.